When Bitcoin surged 196 in just 26 weeks, this secret weapon delivered 548% on the same move. It doesn't just double Bitcoin swings, but it skips also some of the crypto chaos and even pays an 11% dividend while you wait. Stay tuned. This is going to change everything on how you look at Bitcoin. Hey guys, most traders are still stuck wrestling with wallets, hacks, lost keys, missing the simplest way to amplify Bitcoin's power. Sound familiar? Well, I'm Dennis Wilborn, ex-naval aviator and founder of AutoPilot Trading. For 14 years straight, every single year has been profitable. Our average return is about 35% per year. So here's why this secret weapon that I'm going to share with you shortly could be your smarter move if you're wanting to trade Bitcoin, if you know how to trade it right. Hey, remember, Bitcoin isn't just a simple click and buy. It's wallets, it's cold storage, it's exchange hack. One mistake and pow, your funds can vanish. So while everyone is fighting crypto complexity, there's a smarter way. And this secret weapon that I'm going to be sharing with you lets you trade Bitcoin's power right from your regular brokerage account. Sound interesting? Yes. So if you're tired of the crypto stress, imagine profiting big without it. Here's what I'm going to share with you during this session. One, I'm going to share the basically what this secret weapon is that crushes plain Bitcoin in its bull runs. I'm going to share how my autopilot trading system turns leverage into repeatable wins, and then also cover the risk rules that keep your capital safe. And the hidden advantage we'll reveal at the end, that one that even hardcore crypto fans miss and don't know about, makes this a no-brainer to trade. So let's start breaking it down. So what is this secret weapon I've been talking about? It's BITX. It's the two-time leverage ETF of Bitcoin. And it's really changing the game for swing traders. I've been discovering that some of these other leverage ETFs on Bitcoin, they are big movers. And I want to be in on these as they begin to move. For example, back in September 2023 to March 2024, Bitcoin ran for 196%, while BITX did this run from here to here, which was 548%. And then in August of 2024, we had another big run here. Bitcoin ran 121%, while BITX ran 285%. Something I want you to capture right here is that while BITX is a two-time leveraged ETF, the actual move during this strong bullish move was times Bitcoin. And on the second move, it was 2.4%. So that's interesting. And I'll get into just a little bit of what we have to watch out for with the leveraged ETFs. But really interesting, when it's a big bullish move, we definitely want to look for ways to be on board. Most traders blow up with leverage because they don't have a plan. With a system like the autopilot trading system, it flips from dangerous to deadly effective. Because you see these outsized gains, let's talk about how to capture them safely. Hey, drop a fire emoji down in the comments if you'd trade BITX over Bitcoin. So how does it actually work in real trades? Here's how. I use my A+ autopilot trading setup and trigger, the exact one I provide in my book, Trade Your Way to Freedom. This is my go-to setup, and it's primarily based on pullbacks into support after we get a shift of momentum. And I'm looking for candlestick reversal signals bouncing off support. And then my exits are basically when I hit profits of 10, 20, 30%. And I always carry a hard stop to begin with around 10%, especially on something that moves like this. So I have my protection in place. And that's how simple it is. I use position sizing to basically not risk too much. And that's basically what I do. So, what did I do back here? Let's look at this example back in August 2024 to January. That's in this area right here. And it ran all the way up to approximately here. And that was the max of the run. And that ran up approximately 285%. So, what I'm looking for is a couple of things. One, I'm following a downtrend all the way down. I watch my momentum, and this is a huge situation. I'm looking for my momentum to shift as we see it doing. Trying to get those down here on the bottom. Let me draw that in down here. And I use my momentum indicator is the TSI, and I set it for 883. And as it basically continues down, starts to show me a little bit of positive divergence in this area, I want to be ready to trade. I get my reversal, and as I'm looking at, yeah, I had 285% from here to here. I don't try to capture all of that. I just want a piece. If I can cut the middle out of the prime rib, the prime cut, that's the piece I'm looking for. So in this particular case, what would that be? So let's say if I picked it up right off of the 8-week moving average here and just caught half of that. Okay, I'm looking at maybe 96%, 100%, which is fine. Okay, I'm not going to get greedy, but that would be fine. I'd take my profits off the table and then wait for the next setup. The other thing that I add and to be watching for, and this is a weekly chart on TradingView, is I'm watching for the bearish reversal signals. And so I get a bearish signal here and a bearish engulfing pattern there. And that's telling me that we may be running out of gas with this particular move. But again, I'm not trying to capture all of it. I'm basically triggering off of my momentum shift and then picking up my trades typically when they run through the, in this case, the 8-week moving average, which corresponds roughly with about the 50-day moving average. Okay, now guys, I'm going to shift back over to the Bitcoin chart. And the day we had identified on the BITC chart was right there. And that was the week of the 5th of August, 2024. The reason I'm shifting over, this is a little clue for you about how to use both the Bitcoin chart and the BITX chart. And if you recall, I had this big red candle on the BITX chart. However, when I shift over to the Bitcoin chart, I've got a quasi hammer right there, or at least a spinning top doji that tells us that Bitcoin, when it finished its day for that day, basically closed up. Now, that points out one of the weaknesses in looking at just BITX is oftentimes BITX closes trading at 4 o'clock in the afternoon East Coast time. So Bitcoin, though, trades 24/7, right? And as you can see, by the time it finished, it's switched over to the next day, price action had come back up and pushed it higher. What this oftentimes results in is you get these little gaps on BITX. However, if you plan your trades, look to use some conditional orders, you can avoid those gap traps, if you will. Just remember that this isn't crypto gambling. It's an autopilot precision approach for trading this very volatile entity, but also potentially very profitable entity. But even a system with 2x leverage can kill you unless you follow the rules that we've outlined so far. So who wants Bitcoin's monster moves without the wipeouts? So let's talk risk. The part most traders skip and the reason they blow up with leverage. First of all, I like to throw in 3 rules on risk. One is initially put my first stop at 10 to 15% to avoid amplified drops and just keep them there. And then I will start taking some positions off the table as I hit my profit targets. I use smaller positions. I make sure that I am never risking more than 5% of my portfolio on these. And some people, what they'll do is they'll break out for riskier trades. They'll say, I'm going to use 10% of my capital to trade these high volatile stocks like this. And I look for the trend. I'm looking for that shift in momentum and then the pullback towards the moving averages. And that gives you some really great opportunities to target shoot getting into the trade. So, one of the things I did, you may notice this blue line that I have right here on the coin. That was the past high about 70, 71,000, 74,000. And when Bitcoin had jumped up here to almost 100, I had called and I said, hey, we're going to basically probably pull back to that. I put my buy orders on Bitcoin right at 75,000. That's when it triggered and I was able to buy it there. Understanding how to use, some people who trade Bitcoin tell me, oh, you can't use technicals trading Bitcoin. They're full of hooey because you darn well can, which then makes it easier and I'll at least say increases the potential that you can trade BITX successfully. Okay, so there we go. We've handled the risk, but the real profit hack, that the one I've been telling you to wait for, is this. BITX will pay you every month. Wow, that is an earth shaking. See all these little D's down here? That stands for dividend. And BITX pays out a 10.9% yearly dividend that, and they pay it out on a monthly basis. And so this is absolutely wild. Not only do you get the oversized moves of BITX two times plus of Bitcoin, they also pay you back a dividend. So it makes it a little bit more interesting for, I won't say long term holding, but getting that little bit of extra in, is okay. So just isn't leverage. It pays a 10.9% annual yield and they pay it on a monthly basis. On September 26th, they'll be paying out 63 cents and the ETF is in about $54. So imagine that. Bitcoin, how much do they pay in dividend? Zero. Bonds, what are they paying in dividends? About 4% right now. BITX, what's it paying? Almost 11%. So you're not just doubling up on what you're making compared to Bitcoin, you're literally getting paid to wait for it to move. So who wouldn't enjoy both upside and income? So here's how you can start putting the edge to work. Okay, Bitcoin's bull run isn't over, but are you trading it smart? Take my free traders quiz at autopilottrading.com/quiz. In 10 minutes, you'll know your trading type, but also come away with a really good game plan and playbook to start on a path to getting better as a trader, becoming a better trader, no matter what level of trader you are right now. Big question I have for you, though, is about my next video. Would you like to see a video on XRPT, which is the leverage ETF for XRP, or ETHU, which is the leverage ETF for Ethereum? So leave a comment. Let me know what you would like to see. Which one would you like to hear about first? And this will be a video probably a couple of weeks from now. Remember, smart traders amplify wins by simplifying their process and their routines. Everyone else gets lost in the crypto weeds, but now you don't have to.